Hello, welcome back to part 2, well, the 7th of this series. The first 6 were Dhammapada. If you would like to start with Dhammapada, you can click up there. Otherwise, if you're here for the Lotus Sutra, then that's what we're doing today. Now, if you did see Dhammapada and you're a little disoriented right now, so am I. My wife Priyal and I just shifted from Goa, India to Delhi, India. So very different weather, different, population density. So you might hear more than a few motorbikes and other sounds outside. It's also not 2 a.m. It's more like 7 p.m. So I apologize for that if it's distracting. Let's get right into it, shall we? The Lotus Sutra was written a few hundred years after the Dhammapada. Dhammapada was originally in Pali. My understanding is Lotus Sutra was originally in Sanskrit. And it's basically toward the beginning of Mahayana Buddhism, which means great vehicle. Now, the Mahayana Buddhists would sometimes rudely refer to the Theravada and the other earliest Pali schools as Hinayana. But that's kind of, just so you know, not a polite thing because they called themselves the great vehicle. So those Theravada, they were the small vehicle. Some of this will become clear throughout the reading, hopefully. But basically, the earliest Buddhism was focused on let's get out of here. Let's attain nirvana so that we don't have to reincarnate ever again. And the people who attained that nirvana were called arhats. And again, I apologize for any words of Sanskrit or any other language which I mispronounce in this series. I am from California, and that's the way things are. So without further ado, the Lotus Sutra. Chapter 1. I'll finish the thought. So yeah, originally it was just focused on enlightenment for the self. Let's get out of here. And then, going around and preaching that to help others to get out of here. And then as Mahayana came into being, the focus shifted from that to let's become bodhisattva. Let's strive to attain such a deep level of compassion that when we attain nirvana and we have the option to exit the cycle of samsara, the cycle of birth and death, we will choose to come back. We will take an oath to come back and continue teaching those who are still stuck in the world of attachment and the suffering that results from attachment, until every sentient being in the universe attains nirvana, and only then will we ourselves attain nirvana. So it's a little bit of a different concept. Some say that, I know some say is a terrible phrase, but basically there are theories that Mahayana may have been a little bit influenced by early Christianity. Also, Christianity may have been a little bit influenced by earlier Buddhism. So that's interesting. A subject for another day. Let's get to the reading. The Lotus Sutra, Chapter 1, Introduction. Now, the version I'm reading, it's the Lotus Sutra, Gautama Buddha. The translation may be a little bit different from yours if you have a copy. Thus I have heard. Once upon a time, the Lord, that's Buddha, by the way, Lord Buddha. Once upon a time, the Lord was staying at Ragragriha on the Gridrakuta mountain with a numerous assemblage of monks, 1,200 monks, all of them arhats, stainless, free from depravity, self-controlled, thoroughly emancipated in thought and knowledge, of noble breed, like unto great elephants. There was a bit of elephants there toward the end of Dhammapada as well. Having done their task, done their duty, acquitted their charge, reached the goal, in whom the ties which bound them to existence were wholly destroyed. That's W-H-O-L-L, not H-O-L-Y. Whose minds were thoroughly emancipated by perfect knowledge, who had reached the utmost perfection in subduing all their thoughts, who were possessed of the transcendent faculties, eminent disciples, such as the Venerable Agnata Gauntinya. There's a bit more words for me to butcher in Lotus Sutra and moving forward than there were in Dhammapada, as you might have already noticed. The Venerable Asvagit, the Venerable Vashpa, the Venerable Mahanaman. If you want to go get a cup of coffee, I think the next several minutes is this. The Venerable Bajrikal, the Venerable Mahakasyapa. He's cool. I think I have a statue of him over there. The Venerable Kasyapa of Uruvilva, the Venerable Kasyapa of Nadi, the Venerable Kasyapa of Gaya. One assumes Bodh Gaya in Bihar, India. Maybe not, I don't know. The Venerable Sariputra. Sariputra. Oh, right. Yeah, there's this song. If you search on YouTube for Lotus Sutra, you might find a song that goes da 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 da. I'm not singing it very well, but then at one point you hear Ni Hao Shariputra, and so Priyal and I call this song Ni Hao Shariputra, which is the Chinese translation of "Hear, O Shariputra," or whatever that is in Sanskrit. Anyway, getting far afield, but this part, to be honest, could use a little levity and distracting, because we're going to be listing everybody who was in the assembly that day. Okay, the Venerable Maughalyayana, the Venerable Mahakatyayana, the Venerable Aniruddha, I don't know who that is, the Venerable Revata, the Venerable Kapfina, or maybe Kapahina, because with Sanskrit, I mean with Hindi anyway, when there's a PH, it doesn't mean F, it means P. Anyway, the Venerable Gavampati, the Venerable Pilindavatsu, the Venerable Vakula, the Venerable Bharadvaga, the Venerable Mahakaushila. Again, that TH that I just butchered is probably ta. Hear the H after it, not th. Th, as far as I know, is not a thing in Sanskrit. The Venerable Nanda, alias Mahananda. Maha is great, by the way. Whenever you hear Maha, it means great. The Venerable Upanada, the Venerable Sundarananda, the Venerable Purna Maitrayanipura, that was all one name, in case you were confused and thought I was listing several people. The Venerable Subhuti, sounds like Tahuti a little, the Venerable Rahula, with them yet other great disciples, as the Venerable Ananda. Check out Esoteric Nerd, episode 77, called Further Ananda. I recommend it. Anyway, you can skip the first 10 minutes and just get into it. It's my reading of volume 8 of Shuryangama Sutra. It's really good, and there's music too, and it's not all like Zelda or something. It's like different things. it's worth checking out. Ananda was, it means bliss if I'm not mistaken, but this particular Ananda was Lord Buddha's cousin, who was one of his greatest disciples. And if I'm not mistaken, he's the one who took over the mantle of like leadership after Lord Buddha passed away. Still under training, that's Ananda was still under training, and 2,000 other monks, some of whom still under training. The others masters, with 6,000 nuns, having at their head Mahapragapati and the nun Yasodhara. I'm not going to get sidetracked. That's an interesting story. The mother of Rahula, along with her train. Now, back then, they didn't have trains the way that you and I know them, which is something like this. Yeah, that's not what they mean. Okay, moving right along. Further, with 80,000 bodhisattvas. 80,000 bodhisattvas. Like centuries before Mahayana Buddhism. Interesting. Sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful. All unable to slide back. Wouldn't that be nice if that was a thing? I mean, won't that be nice when we attain that? Endowed with the spells of supreme, perfect enlightenment. Not that shoddy, dime store knockoff enlightenment. Delhi. Okay, where were we? Firmly standing in wisdom, who moved onward, the never deviating wheel of the law. Usually when they say the law, that's Dhamma or Dharma. Dhamma is the Pali, Dharma is the Sanskrit, if you were confused before. Anyway, who had propitiated, as I would tend to say it, many hundred thousands of Buddhas. Wow. Buddha was still alive giving a lecture, and already there were 80,000 bodhisattvas and hundreds of thousands of Buddhas. Sorry, I'm being disrespectful, aren't I? Were in body and mind fully penetrated with the feeling of charity. Oh, okay. Able in communicating the wisdom of the Tathagatas. Very wise, having reached the perfection of wisdom, renowned in many hundred thousands of worlds. So the sutra is about what the Buddha says at this lecture, but they're just listing everyone who was present. Wouldn't that be interesting if, like, the Sermon on the Mount was like, first there was Rabbi so-and-so, and then there was John and his brother, and... Okay. The 3 wise men from the Orient, came. They were a lot older. I mean, if Luke is to be believed, right? Am I right? Sorry. Very wise, having reached the perfection of wisdom. Here we go. Skip a little, Brother Maynard. Having saved many... Okay. Such as the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Manjushri. He's over there. He's the one with the sword. As Prince Royal, the Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas Avalokiteshvara, also over there, also known as Kuan Yin, also known as Canon. Put a pin in that. Mahastamaprapta Sarvartanaman Nityodyukta Aniksipatadura Ratnakandra Vaishagyaraga Pradhanasura Ratnakandra Ratnaprabha Purnakandra. I'm pretty sure that means full moon night or something like that. Mahi Vikramin Trail, though it looks like it says trail, but no doubt it's not trail. Trailokavikramin, Anantavikramin. I'm just committed to reading every word. I'm sorry for those of you who are bored. And if you've clicked away, I totally get it. If you never come back, I totally get it. I'll try to throw in a bit of levity like this. Is this funny? I don't think so. Uh-oh. What a terrible time to lose my place. Mahapratibhana satatasammitabhiyukta dharanidhara akshayamati. It gets better, I swear. Padmasri. That means like, it's a respected way of saying lotus. So like Padma Sri means like, great Padma or respected lotus. I know some of this, but not most of it. Nakshatraraga, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Maitreya. He sounds familiar. The Bodhisattva Mahasattva Simha. With them were also the 16 virtuous men. To begin with, Bhadrapala, to wit, Bhadrapala. Okay, same name twice. Ratnikara, Susartavaha, Naradatta, Kuhagupta, Varunadatta, Indradatta, Uttaramati, Viseshamati, Vardhamanamati, Amogadarsin, Susamtita, Suvikrantavikramin, Anupamamati, Suryagarba, that means sun something, S-U-N, translating Surya. Anyway, and Dharanitara, besides 80,000 bodhisattvas. Please don't list all 80,000 bodhisattvas. Among whom were the forementioned were the chiefs, further Sakra, the ruler of the celestials, with 20,000 gods, please don't name them all, his followers, such as the god Chandra, I know it's Chandra, maybe in ancient Sanskrit it was Chandra, the god Surya, the sun, the god Samantaganda, says here the wind, in parentheses, the god Ratnaprabha, the god Avabasaprabha, and others. Further, the four great rulers of the cardinal points. Man, this guy, that's quite an audience. With 30,000 gods in their train. Again, not that kind of train. VIS period, is that like vis-a-vis or something? The great ruler Virudaka, the great ruler Virupaksha, the great ruler Dhritarashtra, and the great ruler Vaishravana, the god Ishvara. We got married at a temple of Ishvara down in Tamil back in 19, before all the craziness. Who knew that was coming, right? Back then. And the god Mahasvara, each followed by 30,000 gods. Are you counting? Are you taking notes? How many gods? How many? A lot of gods, a lot of bodhisattvas, big audience. He must have really been able to project his voice. I don't mean to be disrespectful, and I apologize. Further, Brahma Sadmapati and his 12,000 followers. When I said to go get coffee, I meant grind the beans, maybe roast the beans and then grind the beans. The Brahma Ayika gods amongst whom Brahma Sikhin and Brahma Gyotish Prabha, with the other 12,000 Brahma gods, together with the 8 Naga kings. Naga, that means snake. So there were snakes there, 8 snake kings. Right, sorry, where were we? And many 100,000 myriads of kotis, of nigas, Nigas, I'm not sure what it means, but anyway, in their train, vis-a-vis, the Naga king, I think it's plural for Naga, or a typo. Anyway, Nanda, the Naga king Nanda, the Naga king Upananda, Sagara, Vasuki, Takshaka, Manasvin, Anavatapta, and Utpalaka. Further, the 4 Kinara kings, with many 100,000 myriads of kotis of followers. What's a kotis? That times 100,000, or many hundreds of thousands, equals what we just added to the mix. Maybe they were there in spirit? Anyway, okay, hundreds of thousands of kotis of followers vis-a-vis the Kanara king, Aruma, the Kanara king, Mahadharma, the Kanara king, Sudharma, and the Kanara king Dharmadhara, besides the 4 divine beings, Gandharvakayikas, with many 100,000 Gandharvas in their suites. Suites, S-U-I-T-E. Vis-a-vis, I assume, the Gandharva Manogna, the Gandharva Manognasvara, the Gandharva Madhura, and the Gandharva Madhurasvara. Further, the 4 chiefs of the demons. If there's any Christians who are tuning in to find out why this whole Buddhism thing is evil, I hope you're taking notes. We got 8 snakes. You might want to look into the Garden of Eden after the fall diagram for that one. And now we're getting into the demons. So, all right, where were we? Demons. Followed by many 100,000 myriads of kotis of demons. Does that mean the same thing in Sanskrit as it means in English? Vis-a-vis the chief of the demons, Bali, Karaskanda, Vimakitri. By the way, don't intone these names while standing on your head and proclaiming, I accept all pacts. And Rahu, along with pacts, sorry, with a T. The 4 Garuda, it's a joke, sort of. Just ignore it. I hope that you're not there. I hope you're making coffee. The 4 Garuda chiefs, followed by many 100,000 myriads. Okay, how much is a myriad? Myriads of kotis. Many 100,000 myriads of kotis. So, myriads of kotis. Whatever a kotis is, times myriads, times many 100,000s is how many demons were there. That's hardcore. That's like a Nine Inch Nails concert back in the... okay, where are we? At that time, did I skip any? I don't want to skip any. Of Garudas. Oh, the Garudas. Okay, we're back to the Garudas, not the demons. The Garudas. He's over there. He's a bird king. What are we doing here? Let's not do what you're doing, phone. Okay. All right. We'll go for another 5 minutes. All right. My apologies, by the way. The Garudas are the bird kings. They're like flying, they're like birdmen. And the Garuda was ridden by Vishnu, who you might know as Krishna. Krishna was the incarnation of Vishnu, sort of like Jesus was the incarnation of Yahweh, I guess you could say. Ish. I know that's horribly blasphemous to those of you Christians who tuned in, and I apologize. I apologize. By the way, see? Okay. Where were we? Sorry about the partial nudity to everyone else. Again, I'm trying to entertain you while we go through all the begats. They're not really begats, but at the beginning of Mark and the boring Gospels, they go through Adam begat, Seth begat, Bob, forever and ever, unto the ages of ages. Amen. All right. Garudas. The Garuda chiefs, followed by many hundred thousands of myriads of kotis of Garudas, vis-a-vis the Garuda chiefs Mahategas, Mahakaya, Mahapurna, and Mahardiprapta, and with Agatasatru, king of Magadha, the son of Vaidehi, now. Oh, period. Okay. Now, at that time, it was that the Lord, so that's Buddha, by the way, surrounded, attended, honored, revered, venerated, worshipped. I'm not sure he would have approved of that, but anyway, by the 4 classes of healers, after expounding the Dharmapariyaya called the Great Exposition, a text of great development serving to instruct bodhisattvas and proper to all Buddhas, sat cross-legged on the seat of the law, the seat of the Dharma, might be a more familiar phrase, and entered upon the meditation termed the station of the exposition of infinity. His body was motionless, and his mind had reached perfect tranquility. And as soon as the Lord had entered upon his meditation, there fell a great rain of divine flowers, Mandaravasa, and great Mandaravas, Mangushakas, and great Mangushakas, covering the Lord. Maybe those are types of flowers. And the 4 classes of healers, while the whole Buddha field shook in 6 ways. It moved. Oh, these are the 6 ways. It moved, removed, trembled from one end to the other, tossed and tossed along. Probably makes more sense in Sanskrit. Then did those who were assembled and sitting together in that congregation, monks, nuns, male and female, lay devotees, like the people who go to church, the lay devotees, they're not nuns, they're not monks. Anyway, gods, nagas, goblins. Did I get naras and nagas mixed up? I hope not. If I did, please comment below. Goblins, Gandharvas, demons, Garudas, Kinnaras, great serpents, men. Oh, there's men there too. I assumed that and beings not human. The Greys? I don't know. I think somebody's probably already done a painting of that. In fact, I think I've seen depictions of this on temples, like in the back. Beautiful. They're beautiful, I have to admit. As well as governors of a region, rulers of armies, and rulers of the 4 continents. This was 2,000 years ago. All of them with their followers gaze on the Lord in astonishment, in amazement, in ecstasy. All right, we'll close there for today, since I like to make these about half an hour each. We've gone over just slightly. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. And sometime soon we'll get to the next half an hour, and we'll maybe get to the beginning of maybe what he said, but I suspect not. Still, tune in and we'll slowly learn everything that the Lotus Sutra says. And yeah, well, I hope that that was fun. I hope that it was maybe a little bit enlightening. I think that comes later, the enlightening stuff. But for now, I'll close with the prayer that, the words that my father and I would say at the end of our morning meditation. To the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us, and to the spirits below, we send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Good night.